Hi, everybody. Welcome to a quick transit talk about Mars in Taurus that's going to be starting on July 9th and going until July 20th. So, Mars in Taurus is not exactly happy. One of my favorite astrologers on TikTok, I believe Reverend of the Stars is their name, described a planet going into a house of detriment like a planet going, ew. And that is so perfect, right? Mars is not particularly happy in the house of Taurus. Mars is all about courage, straight force, taking sudden action, fire, will, the fight response, the conquering the response, the you're going to know how I feel and what I want type of energy. And Taurus, a Venetian planet, is, yes, also still very focused and stubborn, but prefers to be deliberate and intentional. So Mars in Taurus is going to be teaching all of us how to be deliberate and intentional with our actions. And so there is like this really great increase in like being productive, wanting to get things done, being mindful about like using what you have. But it can also mean you want to get more of what you have. Remember, Mars is a conqueror energy. So you have to be very deliberate and intentional about what you're deciding to conquer. So things that are good to do during Mars and Taurus is like, all right, I'm going to conquer my inability to relax. I'm going to conquer these small bills. I'm going to conquer this one project that I've been wanting to do, right? Like letting yourself hone in on something that's important to you, big or small and medium. Maybe pick one out of three, and bouncing around those will be good. Now, trying to like overcome, push, and fight is something that can also happen when Mars is at any place. But imagine Mars trying to fight a bull, right? This can be an energy where we can like dig in our heels about something that actually we shouldn't, because it's attached to our ego or how we're perceiving ourselves from the past and not necessarily rooted in the present. And so this is a really good time to allow yourself to focus on intentional and methodical healing. Taurus teaches Mars how to like chill out, not in the sense of like not doing anything, but focus that fire, focus that courage, and let yourself drive to where you need to. Now, this can also increase the desire just to kind of like be lackadaisical too, because Taurus does like nice things. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I just want to be in bed with my person. And that's a really good thing, right? But make sure that you and your person like get up and go and exercise together or talk, or like don't get stagnant. So be mindful of being stagnant. Be mindful of being dogmatic. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to focus in. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. But with all things in the universe, do it with balance and do it with grace. And Mars is going to have some tensions, right? It's going to be definitely making a square to Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius on the 11th. And so there's all of us in one way or another are going to be getting a lesson about like, okay, do you act this way because that's who you are? Or do you act this way because that's how you've been trained to? Do you act this way because that's your reaction? Are you reacting this way from a place of pain? Or are you reacting in a way that's going to foster and support your healing and growth and maturity, right? Mars is a young kind of planet. It's one of the personal planets. It's the reason it's represented as like a young warrior. So Mars inherently doesn't necessarily have the strategy that it can learn in Taurus. And Taurus doesn't necessarily have the like gumption and go that Mars has, but together they can work out. And so I say this to stress the fact that like just because something isn't easy doesn't mean it's not worth it, in my personal opinion. The things that are hard to do, and I'm not including like emotionally abusive relationships and stuff that are just like hella toxic, but the things that require you to get into yourself more and understand yourself more, well, that's always worth it. And quite frankly, anybody who's really into you likes that long haul. Yeah, thinking of my husband. So, that is the vibe for Mars and Taurus. Don't be afraid of it. Actually allow yourself to embrace it and get to know how you're working a little bit better. And what you don't like, adjust, because Mars definitely has no problem with making a different move. I love you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow.